The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Hi, I'm Alicia.
And I'm Stacy.
And we make Trashy Divorces, everybody's favorite good podcast about bad relationships.
Looking for something true crimey without the gore or the body count?
We've been churning out funny, feisty, feminist episodes since 2019. So if you're looking to put some scandalous stories told well into your ears this summer, check out Trashy Divorces, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Trust us, we've covered someone you love.
Or someone you love to hate.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome to Orioles on the Verge. This is Zach Spedden, joined as always by Bob Phelan and Nick Stevens. And on tonight's episode, we're going to be joined by Connor Newcombe, the host of Locked On Orioles, for our annual over-under. But this year with a twist, because before we do our normal over-under prompts, we're actually going to have a little bit of a draft. And we'll explain that in a moment. But first, this episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ Bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMO, and artificial ingredients. All IQ Bar products are packed with clean, delicious ingredients that keep you physically and mentally fit, like magnesium, lion's mane, and more. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their busy lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. IQ Bars become part of my daily routines, whether it's starting my morning with IQ Joe, grabbing an IQ Bar or IQ Mix to refuel or rehydrate after a hard workout. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. Text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. And now let's get started with our over-unders by doing our first ever over-unders draft. And Bob, can you give our listeners a little preview of what's to come here?
Yeah, I was listening to Rates and Barrels. I can't remember if it was early this week, late last week, but they had a really cool segment, and I don't know if this was like an official draft that his website was doing. I can't remember, but they went league-wide and looked at, I can't remember which projection system either they were using, but we're going to use Oopsie, so let's just use that as an example and say Ronald Acuna is projected to get 5.7 WAR this year, and then if you draft him, and he ends up with 9 WAR, then you are plus 3.3 if my math is correct. And then basically you're just going and doing a draft, and whoever ends up with the most positive WAR over the projections is your winner. And it seemed fun. I figured we could do it instead of league-wide, shrink it down to our little section of the internet with the Orioles. And since we have Connor here, I think it would be a fun exercise to entertain.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nick will have our first pick here, but Connor, before we start, any thoughts that you have going into this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to formulate a strategy. It does stink that Gunnar Henderson's oopsie projection is pretty good. Now, someone might take him, but that means he's going to have an MVP winning type season, which is absolutely possible. But he's projected for almost 7 wins already, so he may not be the first pick off the board. But this will be interesting. It'll be an intriguing look on how we see some of these Orioles players this year.
Yeah, deciding on Oopsie changes some things because I think they were pretty aggressive on, or at least on the high end for a lot of guys. So I guess I'll start. Well, we need to come up with a prize though for the winner. This is we track it. We can track the
Yeah.
results here.
That's a
Come
good
up with
idea.
Draft order for next year's minor league draft or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Some sort of prize. But yeah, I guess I will kick this off, and I'm going to go with. All right, the defense does scare me a little bit, but I'm going to take Kobe Mayo, number 1 overall. He is at .9 WAR according to Oopsie, but they only have him at 44 games. But obviously, with the Jordan Westberg injury, and as we just talked about last week, earlier in the previous episode, I don't think any of us are very optimistic of Westberg playing much this year. So, Mayo, the runway is yours.
That's a good pick. I was actually hoping to get him a little bit later in the draft, but I think the potential is there. It's such a low projection. If he can stick at third base all year round, I think you're going to crush that by a decent amount. I think I'm going to crush this pick, though. Give me the AL Rookie of the Year in 2026, Samuel Basallo, who is projected to get 2.4 WAR by Oopsie, and that's pretty good projection for a rookie, but I think they have him at 20 home runs. I think he's going to be closer to 30. Like I said, I think he's going to break out in such a huge way. So give me Basallo and let's just say he catches enough and is decent enough back there that helps as well. Give me him, I'm going to say at least 3.5 WAR this year. So.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and actually it's Connor's turn here with this pick.
My selection next. I'm going to go in a kind of a similar vein of the Kobe Mayo pick. Some of it's just because of playing time obviously Oopsie doesn't do as much of the playing time projections. They're more based on the underlying data and the StatCast numbers, but Blaze Alexander at 0.6 feels really light for me, so I'm going to take him. 58 games. Again, they have Jordan Westberg playing 99 games. I'd be willing to bet a large sum that Jordan Westberg plays fewer than 99 games for the Baltimore Orioles this year, and that's going to mean more games for Kobe Mayo and more games for Blaze Alexander. I think he's going to play good defense at multiple positions. He's mashing the baseball in spring. He had like a 60% hard hit rate at one point this late in the spring. I think he'll play some third. He'll play some second. I think we'll see him a little bit in center field later in the season, maybe against some lefties. I just think he's going to play a ton Ramon Arias style. And I think with a little bit of speed, he brings you more value than Arias did. You know, Arias' best season was like a 2.1 WAR at Fangraphs. I think Alexander could easily do that, if not better, by bouncing around the diamond. So with his projection being at 0.6 right now, I will definitely take well over for Blaze.
So we have a snake draft here, which means that I get back-to-back picks here. I'm going to actually go pitcher with the first pick, and Shane Baz at 2 WAR feels a little light to me. I think that maybe I'm not quite as bullish as Connor and Bob are right now on Baz, but I think that the base numbers are going to be better. I could also see him throwing more than 150 innings, so I'll go with Baz as my first pick, and then for my next pick, I'm going to take Colton Cowser. Now, it is, I will admit, a pretty big gamble because we know some of the flaws in Cowser's game offensively. There's a question of whether or not he's ever going to hit lefties well enough to be a true everyday player, but 117 games in the projection feels a little light to me. And I also think that it's very possible, if not likely, that his defense is really being undervalued. So 2.6 WAR, when you add in good defense in center field and more games played, I think he can exceed that, even if I kind of agree with Oopsie's projections for him offensively. 240 batting average, 20 homers, 112 WRC+. That feels about right to me, but I think the defense and the higher total of games played will bring his final WAR up a bit. And now it goes back to Connor.
Yeah, does that mean I'm on the clock? I know how a snake draft works. I definitely understand it. We definitely just did a snake draft a week ago, and I totally know how it works. We are going to go ahead and... I was going to try to target some, like, 0 WAR guys, but instead... I know this is risky for a reliever who's already projected for 1 win, but I'm going to take Ryan Helsley because I truly believe that he is going to be demon level Ryan Helsley again. And so if we can get, 70 innings out of him with just incredible stuff, that was a 2.3 WAR pitcher just in 2024. I think if he can do that, at this point, there's not a lot of players you're getting who are going to be worth 3 more wins than their projection. So I'm going to take Helsley because I'm definitely bought in.
Good pick. I'm going to go with a pitcher who is projected to get less WAR than Chris Bassett. He had 3.3 WAR in only 109 innings last year. Give me Trevor Rogers, opening day starter. They have him getting 150 innings. That could be close to right. Maybe I think he'll get more, but they have him at a 4.3 ERA, 4.26 FIP. He only walked 1 batter this spring, and I'm a big believer. Obviously, he's not going to do as well as he did last year, but I think he's for real, and I think he's going to easily beat 1.7 F4. F yeah.
I was kind of hoping Bradish or Boz, one of those two would make it back to me, because I do agree that they're both very low. I'm up with 2 picks now. I feel good about the Kobe Mayo pick, but I'm going to take the other starting pitcher here, and go with Kyle Bradish. They've got him listed at 2.8. Maybe it's not a ton I'm getting here, but I think you're looking for every little bit you can now at this point, I feel like. He has 3.9 F4 in 2023. So we've seen what his peak is so far. I think he could get me at least close to another 1 win here. So I'll take Bradish there. And then I don't want to take the other one because, I'm going to go with, screw it, I'm going to take Gunnar Henderson. He has that 6.5 that Connor mentioned there at the top, but you know what? We all very, very bullish on this team this year, and he was 7.9, I think, the year before last, and was 4.8 last year with the shoulder injury and the oblique in spring training. Even if he gets to 7, if I can add 1.5 to 2 WAR here between these 2 picks, I think I feel pretty good. If Kobe Mayo can save me with being the 1-1 there.
I was going to take Gunnar if you didn't, so good choice. I'm going to go with Jackson Holliday. I know he's going to miss a few weeks to start the season, but I'm a big believer in him. I'm super bullish. I think he's going to make a big leap forward this year in his 3rd second full season. I think we started to see the on-base skills that he showed off in the minor leagues late last year. I think he's going to add that with the quality of contact improvements that he flashed last year as well, and I think he's going to be easily, and let's hope he improve the defense as well. I think he'll be 3+ WAR in 2026.
Is Anthony Nunez still on the board? All right. Well, I'm going to take him because I think he's awesome, and I think he's going to pitch a lot more than the 25 innings that Oopsie is projecting him for. Even though he's not on this roster, the O's are going to need some arms and potentially need them early, and I just think with a 0.1 WAR projection, I think it'll be pretty easy for Nunez to at least get better than that and get myself some points.
I'm going to go with a kind of similar strategy here, but go for a starter. And I'm going to say Dean Kramer is my next pick. Right now, Oopsie has him at 115 innings, which when you look at him getting options in the minor leagues, it's possible his innings total ends up that low. But like we talked about on our show earlier this week, there's going to be an injury to the rotation at some point, and you know that Kramer is going to be the first guy up. So I think that he passes that innings total and the 0.8 F4 that they have him projected for right now. He manages to exceed. And then with my next pick, I'm going to go with Taylor Ward. And I'll admit with Ward that I don't love the defense, and that could end up dragging his WAR down. But I also feel like we may see a more complete season from him offensively. So if he's able to cut the strikeouts back a little bit, they have him hitting 28 homers in 152 games. Depending on how you want to interpret the data, that's probably about right, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he ends up clearing 30 homers. So this may not be a significant step forward, but a little more than a 3-win season feels possible in Ward, and I think he can do better than the 2.8 that he's projected at right now.
I believe that the only player on at least my projected opening day roster who's at a flat out, okay, there's 2 of them who are at a flat out 0-0 who I'm projecting on the opening day roster. One of them is a hitter who I'm not going to take. One is a pitcher who I am going to take, and that is Rico Garcia.
Oh.
Listen, I don't know how good he's going to be, how long he's going to stick around, but he's out of options. He was good last year. He's going to be on the opening day roster. He's going to be used in a lot of different ways. He accrued .3 WAR in 30 innings last year. If he gives the Orioles 60 innings with similar production, I mean, that could be a plus .6, which at this point in the draft is probably solid value to pick up. So got a couple of relievers there. I'll leave the one hitter that I project on the roster to be the 0-0 guy, but he is also my utility infielder projection who might be DFA'd in 2 weeks, so I don't think he's a great value pick.
I like that
pick.
I'm going a similar strategy here. I'm going with the guy that's projected 0.0, so no harm, no foul. If he never plays in the majors or does nothing, I guess he could get negative, but I almost picked Cade Povich just because you need 8 starters and he's projected for 0.1, but I'm going with Enrique Bradfield Jr. just because, say he comes up in July, or look, I know Reed Trimble's on the 40, he's right there if there's an early injury, but there's not a ton of depth at center field that could play capably behind Cowser and Tavares. So if something happens and they need Bradfield, that defense alone I feel like is going to provide value. So hopefully that doesn't, come back to haunt me, but I'm going with the prospect for my 4th pick.
Alrighty. Well, since my last pick was taken there with Rico Garcia, this last one is tough. There's a batter that I'd like to pick, but I don't know how long.
Very risky.
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about.
It's not Beavers.
Tyler O'Neill.
No, not even Tyler O'Neill. I was thinking, do I take a shot with, a Brian Ramos, but I don't know how long he's going to...
Yeah, I guess you could talk this out because there's no other picks after you.
I don't know. He could... if Luis Vasquez didn't, break his thumb, if he didn't break his thumb, I think that would have been a good pick in this draft. So, you know what? That's too many innings for Wolfram as well. Now I'm scrambling. You know what? I'm going to go Trey Gibson. Did anybody take Gibson?
No.
Nope. All right. I'll go Trey Gibson. I'll throw a prospect on there. He's at, 0.1, I believe, in 7 innings or something? Yeah. We'll say he's the guy that gets some good run as far as the prospect pitchers are concerned. And even if it's at a bullpen role and he could give me 0.3 or 0.4, I'll take it.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we'll go over now to our over-unders. And this is what we do every year. We'll go through the projection systems over at Fangraphs and pull out just a random projection. And it could be batter's home run total, player's WAR, pitcher's strikeouts, ERA, innings pitched, what have you. And we'll just go around and try to guess over or under for that total. And I will get us started here with this projection for Steamer, which is a 4.2 ERA from opening day starter Trevor Rogers. Connor, over or under 4.2 ERA for Rogers this season?
I'm going to take the under. I mean, from a 1.8 to a 4.2 would be kind of disappointing. Is his ERA going to get higher? Absolutely. But I think there's enough real stuff there that it'll stay in the threes somewhere.
Under 3.87.
I was going to say under as well. I'm going to say 3.78.
I'll go under 3.6.
Oh, we're each reading these individually? Okay.
Yeah.
Hal Bradish, another starter from Steamer. He is projected for 3 WAR. So if that happens, Nick's getting 0.2 in the draft. Are we over or under that, Zach?
I'll take the over.
Over 3.7.
I'll take the over by a little bit. We'll see on the innings. The innings might hurt him if they limit him at all, but I'll take over.
Yeah, I'm a slight over as well. I'm thinking like 3.3, 3.4.
All right, Shane Bosbulls, here you go. 156 strikeouts. What do you got, Bob?
Over. 200 plus.
I'll take the over. He's fully built up, so why can't he pitch 180 plus innings? And at that point, I mean, if Shane Paz pitches 180 innings and strikes out 150 batters, there's probably an issue.
Yeah, I'm definitely going the over here. I think the projection on this one, the innings pitch total, was kind of low. So I'm going to say he ends up with around 190.
Yeah, I had over 190.
All right, over or under 156 innings from Zach Eflin. That is what Steamer has. Start with Bob on this one.
I think it's a good number. I'm going to go under a little bit just based off what we talked about on this week's earlier episode. I'll say like 140-ish innings for Zach Eflin this year.
I said under 130.
I'll go under. I mean, he threw 71 last year. He's only eclipsed that 156 number, 3 times in his career, and he's only eclipsed 165 once. So 165 is kind of like the target for Zach Eflin. So that's usually with one IL stint. The fact that they're going to want to get Dean Kramer in there, 6-man rotation, I think it'll be under.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under as well. I'll go around 130.
Next up, we have Connor's guy, so we'll start with him. Ryan Helsley, 29 saves, says the bat. I don't know how they know pitching, but the bat says 29 saves.
29 saves. Saves, they don't make saves like they used to. You don't have Jim Johnson going out there and getting 53 saves anymore. I do think this Orioles team will have to win some close games. I think they may have an offense that builds okay leads and a bullpen that maybe makes them a little bit closer. So I think Helsley will get enough run to get, say, 34 saves or something.
I'm going to say push. He's at 29 saves this year.
29 to me feels a little bit low, provided, of course, that he stays healthy all year and the Orioles are winning games, but winning close games. And as Connor said, I think there are going to be a lot of, 7-5 wins where Helsley's going to have to come in after a few rough innings and slam the door. So I'll go somewhere in the range of 30 to 35.
Yeah, I feel like even bad teams, if you have a closer that's healthy all year and keeps the job, they're going to beat 29 saves. And I think we're a good team, and knock on wood, he stays healthy all year. So I'll say over as well, somewhere in the 30s.
All right, Tyler O'Neill, 100 games played. Zach, over under?
I'm going to go over. Maybe not significantly more, but I'm going to say he finishes somewhere 105, 110 games.
His goal should be 100, and he is going to hit it right on the dot in the regular season.
Give me the under at 97 games played.
Slimmer. At least not as bulky anymore. Good spring. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say over 109.
Steamer has Taylor Ward projected for 25 homers. Connor, does he finish over, under, or push at 25?
Over. I mean, will he hit 36? Maybe not, because left field won't be as kind to him for 81 games. But for 25, I mean, Ward is like at the prime of his power hitting right now, it seems. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to continue to sell out for power, but he had 25 in 2024, then he hit 36 last year. I think we're probably closer to the high 20s, low 30s this year, but he'll beat it.
Yeah, I was thinking 29, so I'll say over as well.
I'll go with what I talked about last episode. I'll take the under here, but he has a higher F-WAR. He's like a 3+ WAR player this year. It's a lot of doubles. It's just more base hits. He's striking out less. He's getting on base more. Maybe the power isn't there like as much as it was last year. I realistically, I think he's going to be way over this, but for the sake of the argument here, I'll go under and continue with the trend that I talked about in the last episode.
It's probably me since there's silence. Pete Alonso, 38 home runs according to Oopsie. That's a pretty Pretty bold prediction for a projection system. Let's go to Zach.
Right on the dot. I'm going to push on this one. 157 games played. That seems about right for Alonso. 38's a good round number. I'll go with the push here.
Under 36.
I'll take the over. I think he's just going to be here to hit homers, and maybe some of his other stats may decline a little bit as he's here, but I don't know. I mean, you look at the seasons where he's had at least 38. He's had 4 seasons, and it's 5 seasons of at least 37 in his career. So I'll take the over.
The A in Alonso stands for analytics. We have a new and improved Pete Alonso. I say 43 home runs in 2026. Over.
All right, Samuel Basallo, 118 WRC plus. Zach, over under.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to say he finishes at 122.
I will say over. Certainly, if he's the Rookie of the Year, 126.
I'll take an under at about 110 with some power, but some strikeouts, maybe not as many walks as we want. But for year one, and he gets better defensively, I think it's overall a good year for him.
Connor Newcombe hates Samuel Basallo.
Yeah, noted Basallo hater, Connor Newcombe. Print it on a T-shirt.
I'm going to take the over as well. Just looking at the WRC Plus leaderboard for rookies last year and seeing who was above that. And if, again, going back to other predictions, if Basallo is going to finish top 3 Rookie of the Year voting, then he should eclipse 118 WRC Plus. So I'm going to ride that hot spring he's having and hope that translates over to the regular season.
Adley Rutzman, 4.2 F4 according to Oopsie. Nick, is that going to be over or under the final total?
Adley's becoming a hotter and hotter name, I feel like, in some of the fantasy-focused stuff I've been listening to lately. People trying to last-minute drafts jump on the Adley late-round train there. I hope it has to be a better year for Adley, but I'm going to say under at 3.5.
I'll go under. He'll be a little bit better, but I don't think it needs to be 4 WAR Adley for him to get this team back on track.
If Adley is over a 4.2 WAR in 2026, we are winning the AL East. And I still think we are, but I think Adley will be under 4.2. I'll say like 3.8. I still agree that it's going to be a nice bounce back year for him.
I'm going to go under. I agree. I think he finishes somewhere in the high 3s, which is going to be good enough, and it's going to be a nice bounce back year.
Another member of the core, Jackson Holliday, 158 ISO is projected by Oopsie. Is he going to, the hamate bone injury tends to sap some power. Do we think he can eclipse that, Connor?
Looks like I'm trying to do math in my head for what's a 158 ISO for Jackson Holliday. The projections have him at 14 home runs. Yeah, honestly, I'm going to go under, but I think he just goes into minor league Holiday walk mania this year because he doesn't maybe have the power for a while because of the hamate thing, and he's still a really productive hitter.
I'm going to go under as well. Even if he's like 150, that's a significant improvement from last year. What was last year? 130 something? I lost the sheet there. It was low. So 150 is under that, but still a significant improvement for Holiday.
Yeah, 133 last year. So I think that going up to 158, especially with the hamate bone injury, would be a massive leap forward. It'd be nice to see, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I think it'll be somewhere in the 145 to 150 range.
I agree as well. I'm going to take the slight under. I do think that he's going to bat like 270, 280 this year. I think he's going to get on base like 375 plus. And the ISO will just be in the 140, 150 range, and that's going to be a hell of a player.
All right, 2 more before we wrap up. Dylan Beavers at 371 at bats. Connor, you had a prediction earlier about maybe a AAA stint for Beavers. Does he still go over 371 for you?
Yeah, at bats is also a tough one because this guy walks a lot.
Yeah.
So the at bats number is going to go down. So I'm going to take the under.
I'm going under as well based on my disappointment prediction in the last episode, but I think it'll be close. I think he will get some good run. Maybe if Tyler O'Neill doesn't even hit 50 games, 60 games, then maybe it's over. But at this point, I'm taking the under.
I'm going to go with the under too, partially because of the point that Connor mentioned. Beavers does walk a lot, and the most productive version of Dylan Beavers, he is going to be walking quite a bit. I also went back and I looked this up because this is, I kind of think, the baseline for what I see Beavers' share of playing time being this year. In 2023, Ryan O'Hearn appeared in 112 games, had 346 at-bats. And it felt like we saw a lot of Ryan O'Hearn, especially down the stretch that year. And if Dylan Beavers has that kind of rookie season, I think you could be reasonably happy about it. But it does show that even with getting out there over 110 games, you might not get to 375.
Taking the over. He's approaching 400 this year. All aboard the Dylan Beavers train.
And with that, now we will head into our final segment. Last call brought to you by Checker Spot Brewing, located at 1421 Ridgely Street. Checker Spot is not far from Camden Yards, making it the perfect pre- or post-game spot this season. And speaking of pre- or post-game spots, you should check out Checker Spot on Thursday because they're going to be opening at 11 a.m. in celebration of opening day. So head there before, during, or after the game. Get some good food and beer. And, of course, Bob, Connor, and I are going to be live there on Sunday with a live show. We will have some details posted to social media between now and then, but you can expect some fun games, including some trivia, of course, some Orioles commentary, and a whole lot more. That will begin at 12:30 p.m. So if you have tickets to that afternoon's game between the Orioles and Twins, be sure to stop by ahead of time. But if you don't have tickets to the game, come to the show and stick around Checker Spot to watch the game there. They've got plenty of TVs, good food, and good drinks, so it's a perfect place to hang out and watch the game. Now, I saved this projection for last because if this goes as well as we think it could, we're talking about an MVP level player this season, and that is Gunnar Henderson. I think I know where the three of you are going to go with this one, but Oopsie has him projected at 6.5 F4. Do we think that the final total is higher or lower? Connor, I will start with you.
Mark DeRosa has unlocked a different level of Gunnar Henderson this year, so I'm going to take the over there, and he's going to be right in the MVP conversation.
Is it too late to bring him in as a special consultant? Please don't. 6.5. Yeah, I think he's going to be, I said, second place in MVP voting. I'm going to say he's 8+. I think he's going to have a monster year. His age 24 season. He's fully healthy, it appears. He looks like he's in midseason form. Crushed a home run in the exhibition on Sunday afternoon. I'm excited to see him try to become the next $500+ million man. So, yeah, I'm going over for sure.
Yeah, I just took him in the draft in hopes that happens. Again, he was 7.9 in 2024. He's 4.8 last year with the shoulder issue. And I loved listening to John Mioli when we had him on last week, and he talked about that WBC experience and how that probably pissed him off. And so leaving him on the bench, cool. Helps us out a little bit more. You hate it for him, but you know what? He's going to go out to prove to the world that he is a megastar in this league, and he takes this team pretty far this year.
So before we wrap up, do any of you have anything you want to add to the Mark DeRosa discourse, or has all been said about that just around baseball?
Like you said to Bryce Harper, you got to watch out because this commissioner, what did he say? He threatened Bryce Harper with physical violence? Screw Mark DeRosa.
We're going to get into the thing about TV hosts in positions of power, and we should just end it here.
All right, I'm going to throw out one more prediction here. It just came to mind. Speaking of MLB, and let's call our shot now. Will there be a 2027 season? Connor, I'll start with you.
Yes. They will not play 162, but yes, they will play a majority of the 162. And honestly, maybe that's what they should do moving forward.
I completely agree. I think it'll be like 140 something. I think, maybe we'll miss most of April, but I think there's too much money on the line. Got to get the season in.
Yeah,
here's the over-under. This comes out probably Thursday morning, but over-under one waiver claim before Thursday. I'm going to say push.
Yep.
Yeah, hindsight. You already know the answer, but.
And I'll say that we have a 2027 season because much like with the last lockout, both sides just kind of throw their hands in the air and say, let's just go ahead and do it anyways. Plus, let's face it, baseball can't afford to not play. And now, before we go, Connor, tell our listeners what you have coming up over at Locked On Orioles.
Yeah, the week of opening day. It's a final opening day roster projection Tuesday. Got a rotation preview with Brendan Mortensen of Masson out on Wednesday. Got the 6 bold predictions, very bold. None of them are probably going to come true on Thursday, and then an opening day recap on Friday. And then, of course, live show on Sunday at Checker Spot at 12:30. But you can check out Locked On Orioles wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get this show. You can probably get Locked On Orioles as well. 5 days a week. Listen to your On the Verge prospect or minor league recap the morning of, and then tune into Locked On Orioles after that.
It really is the 2 crucial shows you need. You need your Locked On for the game recaps, keep you in the mix for the Major League stuff. We're coming with the Major League analysis as well, but also we're going to keep you covered on the minor league side. Super stoked to get out there Sunday. I'm going to get there early, stay for the game, so come hang out.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And the 3 of us, might be back on the air next week, in addition to having more shows than the live show. But we'll figure that out in the next week or so. In the meantime, you can check us out on our many social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. We're also over at Substack, OriolesOnTheVerge.substack.com. And while you're browsing around the internet, be sure to head over to Patreon.com and sign up to become a member today at the $3, $5, or $10 level and have access to bonus weekly coverage from Bob, Nick, and myself. And that will be kicking off next week when I recap Norfolk's opening week. And you will also get monthly updates to our top 50 prospects list, access to patron-only channels within our Discord community, and a whole lot more. So be sure to check that out at patreon.com today. Thank you to Connor Newcombe, the host of Locked On Orioles, for joining us this week. For Bob Phelan and Nick Stevens, this is Zach Spedden. You've been listening to Orioles on the Verge, part of the Believe Podcast Network.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
This is Mike Boileau of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.